and welcome back to my channel. For today's card, I am using the Stitched Pumpkins and Stitched Gourds from Fawn. So for my colors today, I'm going to use Gonzai Tombi watercolors because I have these and I rarely pull them out. Now I'm definitely not experienced with watercolor, so I'm just kind of winging it. I just wanted there to be a slight variation in color because I actually really enjoy that painterly watercolor look. And for each of the pumpkins, I have a different color, and I decided to go in rainbow order. Because what's more appealing than all of the colors in rainbow order? Now, I did try to figure out more of a fall muted color combination for my pumpkins, which is why this particular yellow color is a little bit more like a, I don't know, Dijon mustard color. I don't love that color. But then here I messed up. I grabbed like a brighter yellow, and this was actually supposed to be a green. I had my colors mixed up, and the Gonzai Tombi colors don't really look exactly like they do in the pan versus on the paper. So I thought maybe I was just wrong and it was actually going to turn out green. Yeah, mistake. So anyway, I did bring in that particular green that you just seen. Now I have this bluish color, and then I will move into my purple. Now once all my pumpkins are colored, off camera I did decide to color all of the stems with the gold from Gonzai Tombi. And so you've seen them here. You've seen me use this color before. I am in love with adding the gold accents. But here I'm just rearranging my gourds and pumpkins the way I want. I have glued them together, and now I'm going to pop them up on some foam tape just to give the whole card a little bit more dimension. So when I do these cards, I don't usually, and by usually I mean almost never, I almost never make the card and then remake the card on camera. So you're watching the whole creative process, more or less. I do cut some things out. Here I decided I need my sentiment. I wanted something small. So I have this So Thankful die that I have cut from this Simon Says stamp die set. And I actually added some double-sided adhesive on the back before I cut it, just so that I wouldn't have to sit there and fiddle with the glue on these tiny little pieces. And now I'm just going to line it up along the bottom. I've had this die set for a while, and I never really know how to use it. So I do feel like this was a pretty good way to use this die set. Now, this very end of it did hang over the stitched lines, which I did not want, so I did cut it off just to the stitched line. That way it's even on both sides. So at this point, I knew that it needed some kind of border because it looked just a little bit too plain. And I originally thought of gold, but then I thought maybe that would be too much. So instead, I opted to do a watercolor rainbow background, which I'm not coloring the whole thing in because you're not really going to see a whole lot of this particular panel, just the very edges. And I was trying to make it sort of blend into each other, but I still wanted the colors to be pretty distinct. I did struggle with this a little bit. One, I always want to control watercolor too much, and with watercolor, you kind of have to give that control up because watercolor looks the best when it does what it wants. The problem is I'm also rushing, and the colors started to mix too much. Like you'll see where the green starts to take over the yellow entirely, and that doesn't really work if you're trying to get all the colors in. So as you can see, it's running right into that yellow. So I'm having to kind of take some paper towel, dot it off, try again. This took me a little while to work out the colors to where I was happy with. But once I finally get all the colors up there and they're not running into each other too much, I set it to the side and let it dry before I add it to the background of my card. Now, as for my hiatus, because I'm sure somebody has noticed that I have not been posting quite as regularly, I have my son's birthday next month, and we usually have a party with the family. I make all the decorations. I make candies and treats and the cake and cupcakes and all the things. And I've just been trying to get all the things ready for his birthday party, and I've had to test out a lot of cake recipes because my poor sweet baby has a bunch of food allergies. So I have to avoid dairy, wheat, and eggs, which if you bake, you know that's 3 huge things that go into baking. So it's been fun. Also, given the state of the world currently, I have been struggling a little bit mentally. I think I'm good now. Like, I've made peace with it. I know the Lord, and I hope you guys do too, because he might come back sooner rather than later. Was a weird way to end, but thank you all so much for watching. I'll be back with another video soon. Bye!